ExitCertified is the go-to-market training arm of Tech Data, and we've been an AWS authorized training partner in North America for about 7 years. What that means is that we can deliver the content that AWS creates with the labs that they create by trainers that are authorized by them. And we have quite a few very experienced AWS trainers. All we do is training at ExitCertified, and so that's really our focus. Now, there are a lot of AWS classes, so I'm going to try and break down what are some of the major paths that people go through depending on their job role. And I've made this learning and certification path document to kind of show that. And if we look at the very first line, it's for sort of managers, maybe salespeople, anybody who deals with AWS but isn't very technical. We have a one-day cloud practitioner essentials. There is some labs, so they get a little hands-on, but it's not deeply technical. And it does get you ready for the foundational level certification, the AWS Certified Cloud Practitioner. You'll notice that all our other paths start with the one-day AWS Technical Essentials. That class is a little more deeply technical and gets people ready for technical classes. From there, you're typically going into one of the three sort of main tracks. We have for administrators and operations people, we have SysOps. For architects, we've got a 3-day architecting class, and then we have a 3-day developing on AWS class. Now, the developing class, you'd better have a development background in either Python, Java, or C#, because that's what we expect you to use in the labs is one of those three languages. And so those 3-day classes will typically get you ready for one of the 3 associate level certifications. You should do a little bit of study after the class, but most of that content is covered in there. And for the SysOps and the Dev class, if you then want to go on to a professional certification, you'll notice that this last path says if you take the Dev or the SysOps, those would both be good prereqs, either of them, for the DevOps engineering class, which is a 3-day class on DevOps and building a CI/CD pipeline with AWS tools. And that'll get you pretty much ready for the professional. I'll tell you this, the professional level certifications should have a pretty good breadth of knowledge on AWS. So maybe if you've been using the product for a couple of years. A nice follow-on after the DevOps, or even after maybe the architecting class or SysOps, would be the running containers on EKS. So if you're running containers and Kubernetes workloads in AWS, that's a great new class. The architect class has an advanced architecting follow-on. The developing class has an advanced developing class. We did get a lot of requests for, can you jam together the 3-day architecting and the 3-day advanced architecting into a week? And eventually AWS did make the architecting on AWS accelerator class. We do have this 3-day class. If you've taken one of these sort of associate level classes and you know a little bit about AWS, then you could be ready for the Cloud Financial Management for Builders class, which helps you optimize your cloud spend. But it's not like for non-technical people. The second page talks about some of the advanced specialties, things like the data analytics or the database specialty. There's usually a 3-day class that goes with those. So here we have the big data class. Typically people take either the architecting or the SysOps first, then they'll take the big data class. Maybe a good follow-on after the big data class would be this new 1-day building data lakes class. We have a nice 3-day planning and designing databases. You could take the Arch or the SysOps or even the Dev class as a prereq for that. We have a couple of very specific classes on machine learning and on data warehousing that you don't have to have a really deep AWS knowledge, maybe just the tech essentials for those. I would say the security engineering class, that you better have taken the architect or the SysOps first. And then finally, the newest class we have is this one called Developing Serverless Solutions on AWS. This is a brand new class, really well built, and it focuses on building serverless microservices with things like Lambda and API gateway and step functions. By the way, all of these certification paths, these are all hyperlinks that'll take you to that class on ExitCertified.com, where you can see the dates. We have a lot of public dates. You can also request a private class if you've got a group of people. And these classes, typically right now we're doing them all virtually, but we've been doing virtual training since 2012. So we hope to see you in class soon, and good luck on your AWS journey.